Hi everyone, welcome to GoLocal Live. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel. Thanks for joining us this Wednesday afternoon. We have a full one for you. I would like to welcome in my next guest, Ed Bozzi, here to talk about a number of things, including the Amgen Biotech experience and what's taking place currently in the biotech arena at URI. So Ed, thank you for joining us
Sure,
today.
it's a pleasure.
Well, while I have you here, let's introduce you to viewers a little bit about your background before we go into Amgen and URI.
Okay. Well, I'm a professor at the University of Rhode Island, and I teach chemistry there. I primarily teach at the Providence campus, which is nearby here, and I manage URI's biotechnology program, which leads to a Bachelor of Science degree in biotechnology. And because an integral part of the major is an internship, I'm in touch and I work with all of the small bioscience companies in Rhode Island. But the reason why I'm here this afternoon and speaking with Kate is because it concerned me to read about and hear about so much negative news about both the Providence school system. I live in Providence, so I was concerned about that, but also what's happening regionally in the state in education. And so I wanted to describe and expose a program that the University of Rhode Island has in conjunction with Amgen, which is a big biotechnology company located in West Greenwich. So I wanted to describe that and say, hey, we're making a very positive impact on high schools in the state of Rhode Island, in the STEM area, in the science area. So
26 schools, 3,000 students.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about the nuts and bolts of this.
So what it's about is we receive funding from Amgen. And with this funding, we've been able to buy what we call biotechnology kits. So these are very large bins of equipment that we loan to area high schools. And the high schools keep this equipment for 3 weeks, and they do a bunch of experiments with this equipment, and then they return it to us here at URI Providence. We replenish, we refurbish the kits, and we send them out again to another high school. And currently we have 6 of these kits. So we're able to deal with 6 high schools at a time. Many times high schools want the kits more than once because it's more than one teacher at the high school that wants to use the kits. Speaking about the high school teachers, we actually train these high school teachers at our facilities here at URI Providence. They undergo a 3-day workshop in June to get them prepared to be able to teach from the kits and use the kits properly.
So when one gets a kit, what are the nuts and bolts inside that kit? What's the magic sauce?
Yeah, there's all kinds of equipment inside, from pipettes to cell culturing kits, but there's a series of experiments, and we provide a lab manual where the experiments are described. When the teachers are with us for training, we actually go through each of the experiments so that the teachers are fully educated in how to properly do the experiments. And by the time the students are done after 3 weeks, you know, they know something about biotechnology. They've been able to culture cells. They've been able to test the proteins that they make. And hopefully we've piqued their interest. And that's the important point. We've piqued their interest in the sciences. And hopefully many of them will enroll at the University of Rhode Island. And hopefully I'll be able to get them into the biotech program that we have and further educate them in biotechnology. Why biotech's important? So it's important because, first of all, we're able to address diseases that have not been able to be addressed previously, therapies, drugs, but also right here is a center for biotechnology. In Cambridge, Boston is the research center of the world. There's thousands of jobs in that region. But even here in Rhode Island, we have Amgen in West Greenwich. We have a brand new company called Rubius Therapeutics that's investing $150 million in a new plant in Smithfield, Rhode Island. And together, these are the 2 large companies in the state, but we have many smaller companies who are working on very, very interesting diseases and finding cures. And these all provide employment for our students. So students are wanting to enter biotechnology because of the good that the science does, but also because of the job opportunities that the science presents.
And you talk about the impetus for coming in here today. Really wanted to talk about education, both here at Providence and around the state. I mean, you talk about the involvement with URI, the involvement with Amgen. Is this kind of, if not the perfect, a model, if you will? I mean, the leaders keep talking about this. how the community needs to get involved to really lift up education here, the higher ed, the successful businesses. It seems like you have a pretty good thing going, combining that could be replicated in perhaps some other areas.
Could be. And that's another reason for coming, was that there was a lot of discussion about funding for schools and perhaps even raising taxes. I know in Warwick they're dealing with that situation. And here we have an example where a successful Rhode Island company, Amgen, is providing the funding so that we, the university, can then train teachers and put these kits together and get them out to area high schools. And there's no public funding involved in this. It's all private money coming from a successful company that's operating here in Rhode Island.
So let's talk a little bit about what's taking place at URI with biotechnology. Here we are. It's the beginning of the school year, getting exciting to hear about what researchers, professors, and students are all doing on campus.
Okay, well, there's activities happening on both campuses. So here at our Providence campus, we kind of kick off the program here. So students spend their first year with us here at URI Providence, and we have some very special laboratories here that provide students with the kind of lab skills and knowledge that allows them to compete successfully for internships. But following a year or so here at the Providence campus, then the more advanced courses are all in Kingston. We have a relatively new building called the Center for Biotechnology and Life Sciences, and students take advanced courses there like molecular biology and cell biology and biochemistry. So the education happens on both campuses. The students leave with a Bachelor of Science degree in biotechnology. And again, I don't know any student that wants a job that doesn't have a job, so employment is very high. What it really attracts the kids, the students, into the program are the internships.
Okay.
So this past summer, we had 24 students all in internships, which is the high for us. Usually we're around 15 to 20, but we had 24 this summer. And I think that's even going to grow further. So many local bioscience companies are supporting our program and willing to take our kids, our students, preferentially versus, for example, students from Yale or Harvard or Brown. They value our students because of the lab skills that we give them very uniquely, and also because they want to support the program. They realize that our graduates then are important for the bioscience industry in Rhode Island to grow.
And you provided us with the name of some of those companies here that have taken those interns and are really growing here. Do you think that the average Rhode Islander knows how strong and growing the biotech industry here is in the state?
Probably not. When we first met with Governor Raimundo, who was the Rhode Island treasurer at the time, we talked to her about getting some laws passed to support the industry, which has happened with her help. But at one of the meetings, I mentioned that there's about 25 bioscience companies here in Rhode Island. And she turned and said, "Only 25? And I said, "Yeah, but would you have thought they would be 25 here?" So yeah, so we have some very exciting companies. In Cumberland, Rhode Island, for example, we have Neurotech, and they're in phase 3 trials, so the final trials of a device that treats macular degeneration, for example. Epivax has moved from the Jewelry District to Oneville, and they're expanding greatly, and they're providing vaccine designs using information technology, IT, rather than killing a virus and creating a vaccine based upon that. We like a company in Tiverton, Rhode Island, called Veroscience, and they have a drug now they've developed for type 2 diabetes, and now they're working on other diseases. So it's these kinds of firms that are here in Rhode Island, and just surprising the kind of work that they do.
Well, I appreciate your taking the time to come in. Again, school's kicking off this week here in Providence, but letting folks know of the bigger picture, if you will, again, of URI, Amgen, getting involved, training the teachers, training the students, as you said, stoking the interest in what is a nascent but established and growing biotech industry here. Is the potential for growth unlimited for companies here?
So there are a number of organizations that are trying to make the marketplace here available so that companies can grow. The talent has to be here. The facilities have to be here. The connection between all of these, what happens at the universities, what happens at Brown, what happens at URI, that all has to be coordinated and connected. So there's two organizations. Actually, tomorrow I'm going to a meeting of an organization called Rhode Island Hub, and these are executives from the bioscience industry that are trying to do just what I described. And then there's Rhode Island Bio, and that's a separate organization, again, trying to lay the groundwork so that companies like Prothera Biologics here in Providence, so that they can grow.
Well, we look forward to having the opportunity to talk with some of those companies, talk with you a little bit more as the school year is underway. So I appreciate your taking the time to come down here, let folks know again about the Amgen Biotech experience and the schools across the state and what's happening at URI. So, Ed Bozzi, thank you so much.
Thank you much, Kate. It was a pleasure.
And thank you for watching. We are not done with live. We are going to be on location shortly outside of Providence with a very scientific focus here on live today. So we look forward to seeing you when we pop up again in a little bit. I'm GoLocal News Editor Kate Nagel.